that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Welcome to the AFC Shakedown. I'm your host, Tommy, and we guys are on season 4 of the Shakedown, and we have returning the OG, Mr. Juan. He's back, baby. And everybody from last season is back. Juan, welcome back, my friend. So let me go around the round table, and we all know the regular face, but I'll tell you guys again. We got Curtis from Ace Per Head representing the Miami Dolphins. We have Juan down here representing the Patriots. We got Anthony representing the New Jersey Jets, baby. And we got Captain D, the New Jersey Jets, baby. And then we got Captain D representing the Dolphins. And then I guess everyone wants to know, how is your guy over there in New Jersey doing, Anthony? How is Fireman Ed? Is he holding up?
He's pumped. He's pumped. He's getting ready for the regular season, but I mean,
all right,
we'll see how it goes.
We're all very concerned here on the Shakedown about Fireman Ed, and I know Juan is. Juan's been just talking to me about very concerned about Fireman Ed, but you know. No, I thought you were. Okay.
To be honest, I don't know what y'all talking about. So.
You don't know Fireman Ed? He was very upset. Very upset last season, Juan. He was not on the big screen. Very mad at the Jets.
Is he back on the big screen now or what?
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Disrespect. They had to get Gase fired. He's the real reason why your head coach got fired. Not Gase, but your other guy. What was his name? Gase, right? No, not Gase. Gase was the weirdo, right? Well, Salah, yeah. Man, you got some weird coaches come through. Yeah, Salah. He was the one guy. We love poking fun at Anthony, man. So let's get some of the chat. Track reviewer coming in. Oh, man. Scott Blakely. Y'all know Scott in the house. Let me guess. Y'all think Buffalo's taking a step back. New England's making the playoffs. Finn's winning the Super Bowl. Jets finishing with the winning record. Man, Scott's is... Boy, he's poking you guys, man.
It is 12 o'clock EST, and he's already sitting out the fire.
Scott's already he's at it already. Oh, my God. Good afternoon, Sandra says. And good afternoon, everyone, Buffalo Snowy. So, yeah, man, let's dive into it. The offseason for each team. I wanted to go around the room and get your thoughts about your offseason. So we'll start with Anthony. Anthony, the Jets, new coaching staff. Talk to us.
Yep, new coaching staff. Aaron Glenn basically wiping the slate clean. Aaron Rodgers out. Devontae Adams out. Getting a fresh look on this team. Going to be a run-heavy style offense, but big difference than what we had last year with Aaron Rodgers basically calling the shots and audibling out of almost every play to make it a pass play. So the Jets are really going to transition this whole team, bolstering up that offensive line in the draft, getting Armand Membu to pair up with a first-round pick from the prior year and Olu Fashanu. They're really building in the trenches. This is going to be a run-heavy team, and you could tell by the fact that the receiving core is lacking. Once you get behind Garrett Wilson, there's not another guy you really trust to make receptions. Guys of Josh Reynolds, it's just really not a lot there. Maybe they get somebody out of the 4th-round pick in Arian Smith, but that's asking a lot to be a number 2 receiver when you're drafted that late. And then the defense. I mean, as bad as it was last year, it still kind of held its own together. I think a lot of their regression last year was based on the firing of Salah mid-year. Ulbrich was in over his head at that point. He's not someone you would trust to be a head coach at that point in time. So I expect this defense to take a step forward, especially with a defensive-minded head coach and a former head coach being their defense coordinator in Steve Wilkes. A lot to be excited about, but the biggest question on the entire team, and I think probably something we can all agree on, is who's throwing the ball. Justin Fields. Are we getting a guy a couple years ago who ran the hell out of the football and threw for nearly 3,000 yards? Or are we getting somebody that's, let's be real, he's been injury prone for most of his career, got benched in Pittsburgh, whether you agree with it or not. Pittsburgh goes 4-2 at the time. Is it because of him, or is it because of that elite defense that they had? So a lot of questions surrounding Justin Fields, and I think that's going to be the real questions going into the season. Whether the Jets are going to ride or die on what Justin Fields can or can't do with this team.
Okay, all right. And what would you grade your draft? Just if you had to grade it.
So, I mean, I'm not big on grades. I wanted Tyler Warren in the first round. I think we had a pre-draft show when we were here, and that was the guy I wanted. I thought they really needed help at receiving position. Obviously, Warren's a tight end, but they needed another pass catcher there. And Warren's elite in the run game too. It would have helped the offensive line as well in that aspect. But I do like how they kind of attacked the draft. They went offensive line in the first round and then still addressed a receiving threat in Mason Taylor, son of former Dolphin Jason Taylor and former Jet, drafting him in the second round. So I thought that pairing was nice. And, I mean, they had other needs, but then they started drafting best player available later in the draft. Third round, they went a corner, which, I mean, they're pretty good at corner at the moment, but they went corner in the third round. I give it a B plus probably. I mean, when you draft offensive linemen, you really can't go wrong with that. But I would have went a different direction.
Anthony, stop chatting in our YouTube chat here. We know it's you. I know it's you. I know you're a multitasker. Jets up, baby, huh? This could be Fireman Ed. I mean, who knows? Could be Fireman Ed in here. He subscribed just to say, Bills suck. Right? Jets up. I appreciate it, man. We appreciate it.
Listen, a lot of traction. I hope it is.
yeah, man. Jeez. I'll see Alpha Rob. I'm glad the Jets signed Fields. He's bad. 2 wins versus the Bills. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Fields. Let's get to Juan. Juan, who's back on the Shakedown. Juan, your off season. Talk to us.
Before I do that, I just want to say thank you guys for having me back. It's been a year and change outside the one time my little guest appearance I had last year. I needed that. I'm not gonna lie, because I was going through the whole little other podcast thing back in the day, and I was doing a lot at once, so I just needed the okay.
Oh wow!
Jeez. Wow! I mean, look, this guy's just yeah.
I know.
Hey, calm down, Anthony. Well, I thought you were cool with Juan last year. All right, go ahead.
You had a bad impression last year.
Golly. All right, go ahead, Juan.
Oh my God, these types.
You got a hater already. They're booing you. I mean, he doesn't want to hear it. Go.
These keyboard soldiers, man. You don't want violence with me. I promise you that. Anyway, I promise you that. But anyway, but I'm glad to be back. Thank you guys very much for having me.
Of course, brother.
Now let's talk about my bum ass 4-13 team, shall we? All right. Last year was, I don't know if disgrace was the word for what I had to go through watching 17 weeks of that. I don't know if you call a product. I don't know what that was supposed to be every Sunday, and we didn't even have any primetime games. Now I think about it. So yeah, every Sunday, it was an embarrassment. So a lot of departures, but we've also got a lot of arrivals. You know, like my entire last year's coaching staff, outside of one guy, is gone. Kind of speaks wonders. I'm kind of happy that my owner decided to not be a dum-dum and actually get out the way once he hired Mike Vrabel. Thank Christ. Because I think he's showing, as what Jerry Jones is definitely showing for the last 25 years, that owner should not get involved in what happens when it comes to football operations. So now that the Kraft is sitting in his very rich desk and not having any input in nothing, now we have a chance to finally attempt to return. We just got rid of a lot of either older dynasty quotations or older guys who were here with Belichick who won a Super Bowl back in 2018. All those guys are basically gone. There are no Patriots that were back then that even have a resemble of the old dynasty that is in this roster right now. Everybody's gone. This is finally a fresh roster. None of that. With taking out David Andrews, taking out John Jones in free agency, a lot of those guys who won before, gone. So now we finally get this do your job stuff. Now it's finally in the past. It's over. Thankfully. With Mike Vrabel coming back in, as I say that, mind you, we have Mike Vrabel who won the Super Bowls with us, and we have Josh McDaniels who's won like 4 or 5 with us. But we also have Terrell Williams coming from the Detroit Lions, who was their defensive line coach, who coached with Mike Vrabel in Tennessee. We have Doug Marrone, who was a very respected offensive line coach, who was a former head coach as well.
St. Doug.
Oh. Yeah. And yeah, you know about him. We also got Brad.
Too well.
yeah.
Well, hopefully we're getting the good version of him, not the head coach version of him. So we also got a crap ton of players coming in. Kayvon Chason from the Raiders. We got Garrett Bradbury from the Vikings. Joshua Dawson, backup quarterback. We have Stephon Diggs, who this bastard was commenting about him, right?
He wants to know about a puppy. I don't even know what is that.
He didn't
about?
drop the puppy. The puppy ran away from him. See, watch the video. Watch the video.
He wants to know.
Early. Yeah. This was early training camp. They were having like a little dog day where they were like giving away adoption for dogs, and each player had one responsible for one. Diggs came out of the tunnel with him, and he let the dog go, and the dog just left. He had to chase the dog around almost the whole freaking field.
Irresponsible Stephon Diggs. If it was a girl, forget about it. He'd have her.
You would have never let it go.
He would have never let it go. Nope.
Yeah. Okay.
F that puppy.
Back to it. Carlton Davis. That's crazy. That's very un-American of you, man. We have Carlton Davis from the Lions as well. Harold Landry, linebacker from Tennessee. That's Mike Vrabel's old running mate. We have so many freaking players. It's insane. Like, this roster is completely new, and we need it. So with all that said, our draft, a lot of good picks. I hope it's really too early to grade a draft, since they haven't played an NFL game yet. But based on their college track, these are pretty good players. Will Campbell, 4th overall, left tackles, because Jesus Christ, we needed a left tackle more than anything. We have Trevion Henderson, who's blown up the preseason, the blown up training camp. So maybe he's a weapon that will transform this offense. Wide receiver Kyle Williams from Washington State, a guy who actually can get open on his own, doesn't need to get schemed open. That's great. One of the other steals might be Jared Wilson, the center from Georgia, who's only started 1 year, but he might be our starting left guard coming up this season, beating out basically everybody else. Craig Wilson might be a starting safety, so we're starting a few rookies this year. Joshua Farmer for defensive tackle depth. We have the kicker who won his kicking battle, even though personally I think the other kicker was better, but whatever. And Andres Borgales coming out of Miami. Another maybe steal is the other tackle. I believe he played with Membu, if I'm not mistaken, Marcus Bryant from the same school. He played the other side. He actually is our backup tackle this year. We got a lot stake on the rookies this year. They're all going to be having significant roles, so we'll see how this goes. So for my tracks for success for this year is obviously the quarterback Drake May has to make a good year 2 leap. I don't need a giant elite year 2 leap like Mahomes did or whatever I need, because all that's what New England wants. A good year 2 leap. He goes from not making stupid ass mistakes to playing good, efficient football. Will Campbell is at least average in his rookie year. He's most likely going up against Max Crosby next week. So he's already coming off the gate with the top 3 end of the league. So we'll see how he performs against him, assuming they switch him over. The wide receiver corps just is average because they've been bottom of the barrel for how many years? Like 4, 5? If they just average with Stephon Diggs and the other guys and Matt Collins, Demario Douglas and Slot, as long as they're average, that should be fine.
Yeah.
The offensive line alone, average. We just want average. We don't need crazy. I'm okay with the offensive line being 20th best in the league versus 32nd. I will take 20th. If the Riders, just like what Anthony was saying about his team, we're going to be a heavy run team as well. So we possibly may have a 3-headed monster at running back with Stevenson, hopefully not throwing the ball anymore, with Trevion Henderson, the rookie, putting in an ounce of explosiveness that hasn't been seen in this team for a very long time. And don't forget about Antonio Gibson, who's an awesome receiver back on his own right. He's also pretty good at pass protection. So if those 3 are probably going to be the most featured people outside of Stephon Diggs, if those 3 kill, this offense might actually be watchable this year.
How's Diggs doing in camp, by the way? Like what's the word on Diggs?
They're slowly integrating him in, kind of hiding him in a sense. They're not making him do too much. So in joint practices, he played and he did his thing. There were, I believe, the second joint practice in Minnesota, he was the star of the entire show. He absolutely eviscerated them. So if that's the case, he's in track to play next week. We'll see what happens then. If he's at least what he was last year in Houston before he tore his knee, we have something. So we'll see.
Yeah, he's a great route runner, good hands, but he's obviously, he's getting up there.
Of course,
we had the best version of him.
Yeah,
but I think he's a perfect addition right now for a younger quarterback. So,
absolutely.
And Matt Collins, I think, is also a good pickup. What did you guys sign him? 1 year deal, 2 year deal?
I believe a 1 year deal. I could be wrong. Though. I have to check.
Okay,
he was 1 year deal. But
see that he's a perfect guy once again. Yeah, for now we didn't have obviously young quarterback, but he's a good locker room guy. Like he has the good vibe. So for a young team, I feel like Matt Collins is a perfect guy to have on it for at least 1 year. You know what I mean? Matt Collins is always going to be. He's going to be everywhere. He goes, but he's perfect for now. Yeah, he's a perfect addition for what you guys got going on, and he can actually make
perfect.
He's
a perfect
special teams. He can come through on receiving. If you need him to,
he does all the dirty work. Yep.
Absolutely. Exactly. And he's a positive dude, man. Like everything about that guy. Like I didn't know much about him until he joined the Bills. So I liked him, man. I was wrong about him because I was like at first I'm like, this guy's a joke. Like he's not going to contribute. Special teams, who cares? But he brought a lot more than that. So good for you guys picking up. That was a solid addition.
Solid addition. It is a 2-year contract for him.
2 year? Still not bad. 2 year deal? Still not bad. Nope. Yep.
Yeah, he's a grown-ass man in the locker room, so I'm very happy that we got him. We needed someone like that to keep the locker room together. Because he's going
to last year, by the way, with your coaching, with what was it, Mayo, right? That was your coach last year. So I'm guessing that was planned out, right? He had to be a coach for 1 year. It was in his contract.
It was in the contract.
The plan was never to bring him back. I got a question, and I really feel like he did it on purpose, but what's your thoughts on the last game against Buffalo? I feel like he screwed the Patriots.
About number one pick?
Yes. What do you feel? You feel like he did it on purpose?
I was livid, but I wanted Will Campbell off the draft in the first place because we needed the tackle way more than anything else. Even though I was kind of trying to talk myself into Travis Hunter and stuff. I'm like, you can use Travis Hunter, use him in a corner receiver. That'd be kind of nice, whatever, but we need the freaking left tackle real bad. So I'm actually okay with everything. At first, I was livid, though. Like, when it happened, I was cursing his name, saying things I can't say on the show. That's how bad it was. I was going ape shit. But after
you got your guy anyways.
I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
We needed Will Campbell. We needed the tackle.
But you could have got draft capital. He screwed you with the capital. Because you could have traded. Right. Because Tennessee needed the quarterback. They were going to trade up. So I felt like that was just a big old FU to your owner on his way out the door.
Again, now with a clear head, can you blame him though? Like how he
was
treated? Like,
no. Yeah, like he knew the writing was on the wall. Probably he knew that from day one, right? He knew unless you had a magical season, which wasn't going to happen. Let's be real, not with a rebuild.
Not that time.
And Vrabel not joining any team for a year. It was just come on, man. Like the writing was on the wall, and he knew it. Absolutely, he did all he can.
But I don't mind.
I don't mind. No. Vrabel's you got a hell of a coach in Vrabel. Like I would love to have Vrabel as my head coach. I like my head coach, but I don't love him. I think Vrabel's a really good coach. But let's move on to Captain D and his Dolphins. And Captain D has a lot to say. I know he does. Captain D, offseason talk. Talk to me.
Yeah, a lot to say. First off, it's beautiful to see everybody on the podcast.
The table's full.
Everyone's here. The table's
an actual
full.
Round table now, yeah.
And I'm in a certain mood, so I got to say it. But let's fucking go. Juan is back. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. We're all together, brother.
Let's go. I don't really give a shit, but I'm in that type of mood today. Let's fucking go. Juan is back. Free Trevor. Where's Trevor? I hope Trevor's doing good. I miss you, buddy. If you're watching this, Trevor, I want to hear the fucking rant. Let's fucking go.
Yes.
I'm in that type of mood. It's about to be the beginning of the football season. So many changes across the board. A lot of question marks on every team here. Can the Bills?
We got some mean people in the chat today.
It's
been very mean. Eli attacking everybody.
I'm not even worried about that right now. I'm enjoying this right now.
Yeah, that's right. That's the positive attitude I like.
I'm enjoying this right now.
Everyone's going up.
Ron is back on.
There you go.
Here. And like I said, let me go. Let's move back over to the show here. The Bills, can they make it? Can they get over that top? You know what I mean? The Jets, there's a lot of changes going on with the Jets, new coaching staff.
Find a way out of the bottom.
I think you've made some good steps, but time will tell. And the Patriots, Drake May, a lot of changes. It's looking good, but time will tell. We have to see. How things are going to turn. And now my Dolphins, a big offseason for the Dolphins. A lot of talk, a lot of movement going on with the Dolphins. The way how I look at this is, I was thinking, and I'm like, this is almost like it's like a bad relationship right now. It's a marriage right now that's like, you know what? It's been bad, and both sides have said, you know what? We're going to try and make this marriage work. We're going to try and figure out how to make this marriage work. What could we do to make it work? Let's sustain. We want another year out of this marriage and see if it works. If not, then it's over and done with. And I told this podcast last year, I said, McDaniel might be out by game 4 of next year if this shit doesn't work. But we're going to see. There's been a lot of changes. You probably don't see this bead of sweat that's running down my face right now, but I'm done. I shined up the McLaren. It looks great. It's ready to go next week, Sunday. We're about to find out. Let's fucking go.
All right. And how'd you feel your draft went?
I think the draft went good, but time will tell. Right now, it looks decent. Ollie Gordon looks good. We've got some big injuries at the running back position. Phillips looks like he might be a little sleeper there. He's acting like a man in the trenches. Our first round pick. I mean, time will tell. We have to see. I think that's a loaded question when it's like, how does your draft class look? We're gonna find out in about 2 or 3 years. Right now, it's looking like it's decent. It could be beneficial, but we got a lot more fucking problems going on with the Dolphins right now. And we're gonna find out in the next 4 weeks or 5.
Eli says, "End the marriage." That's how it's gonna work in Miami. End it. Get it over with.
Eli. We're gonna find out.
Off the Band-Aid.
Damn, Eli's rough, man. He's dressed like shit. My God.
I like it though.
Mike,
a little bit spice in the comment. I like it.
Stuck mode says Mike Daniels gets fired by week 6. So, by the way, he is awful at interview. Like I was talking to Captain D. He was on about McDaniels being interviewed on what was that show? Rich Eisen. Holy shit! You want to talk about a terrible interview? He is so bad. He cannot. If that's the way he talks to his players, then I see why they don't respect him. Like, that's my take with McDaniels. I don't think he's a terrible coach. I just think he lets the players walk all over him. I don't think he has control of the locker room. I think he.
Person.
No, I think he tried. Exactly.
He's like a worse version of Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan's not the best when it comes to people either, but at least he's so ingenious up here that the players don't give a shit because he puts them over. But McDaniel's is like the discount version of that. Since he has no people skills, he's not as smart. After a while, it kind of gets old if nothing changes.
Yes. You know who he is? He's trying to be like the other coach in Miami, the Heat. What's your coach name? Yeah, he's trying to be like he's like a Timo Spoelstra, right? He's trying because Spoelstra's cool. He's a players coach. Listening to the rap music and kicking it with the players, and you know what I mean. Like, but it worked. He won championships, right? Your coach, I feel like you try to be that cool coach, but I don't think it's working. And I think like the players in Miami just kind of see him and they just run all over him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll chime in with that. I kind of disagree with that.
You don't think Hill respects him? Hill don't even show up on time. Like now,
well,
mind you, Hill didn't do that in Kansas City either. Hill did that in Kansas City. He was a problem in KC, I think, and that's why I got rid of him. But my point is this, and I'll let you chime in. Every player, a lot of players that are either left Miami or even were there, were saying how things aren't right in Miami. The locker room's not right. They're not training properly or taking things serious, or players are going out and partying. Like, it just doesn't seem like McDaniel has a hold on things. But go ahead.
I think they were a little ahead of themselves. I think they thought they were in a better place than they actually were, and they made certain decisions and brought in certain players that thought that they would they could turn a blind eye to and bite the bullet that could take them over the top and actually win a Super Bowl. They were wrong. They were very wrong on some of those players, and they've adjusted and made some changes to the team, as we all know, based on the offseason. But it does seem, and we don't know if this is true, this is all reportings and speculation and what some of the writers are reporting, is that it seems like these guys there's a newfound vision for this team. And
they said it last year.
They did.
Oh, Curtis ain't happy. Curtis ain't happy.
Curtis boiling.
You got Curtis. He's getting red. He's getting red over there, Captain D.
They did say this last year,
and they told us they lied.
And they told us they lied. They did tell us they lied. But I think I do feel like something has changed, and we'll go into later on because we're gonna do some predictions and stuff like that. But
yeah. All right, let me get to this question real quick. So coming in, Weston, no cap, is Mike Vrabel the best head coach in the AFC East right now? So
say that when he has to coach the game in the division yet. Let him coach games in division if he can answer that question. In my opinion,
right.
He has a nice resume, but they ain't got nothing to do with AFC East. We'll find out.
Exactly?
Yeah, but
nice
I would disagree on that. You got a guy who's a top level player who went to Super Bowls. You got a guy who took pretty much a Titans team with no QB like throughout the entire process. And even for my Dolphins in 2021, he set the template on how to take care of that Tua and that offense. So you got a guy who's a high end.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's got a high end IQ with experience. He can play the tough guy and relationship, and he managed a team with a poor quarterback to high level. I just think that, yeah, he could lay an egg here, but when you stare at it, this guy is what probably everybody wants as a coach. You know, maybe you want a little bit more here or there, but there's no real weakness. He's well-rounded. And so I definitely give him – I like McDermott. I think he's solid to above solid. I like Glenn's potential. McDaniel concerns me, although I see assets to him, but he's like my team, strong assets and strong flaws. I prefer a coach that's got really no weak spots, and I think Vrabel fits that bill with a few strong points. So if you go through the whole list of characteristics, I think he's got the best resume or best potential. So that's why I would say it.
Gotcha. Eli coming in over under 7.5 games before we see Zach Wilson.
You know, that just seems like a clickbait question. That's pretty lazy. Next question, please.
I love you got that sound bite. Let's go. Good. I love it. That was great.
I guess we'll answer the question. Captain D, go ahead and answer that.
I'm gonna take the under on that. One of the biggest flaws with the Dolphins right now is the offensive line. The offensive line, depth issues with the offensive line. We're getting it looks like we're getting Austin Jackson back at right tackle. James Daniels, it's his first year. He's coming off an Achilles. Brewer seems to be playing the part at center. We got a rookie with Jonah Savanaya, and I might be wrong about that. He's a rook. He's going to have some growing pains. And then we got Patrick Paul, which seems like he's he's acting like a grown man and playing like a grown man. We're about to see it in a full season. So
you're saying under or over?
I'm saying I'm gonna say under. I'm gonna
under. All right, Curtis, what do you got? Over, under, and then we'll get to you about your offseason.
I think you're going to see more like 2023 where Tua is just because Tua understands that his career, not just in Miami in general, is on the line here. So I don't think if you watch all his injuries, they were on the run. And I think he's going to be extremely concerted in his effort to keep himself healthy. So I think I don't know what's over on the. I think he'll play the full beyond 7.5 games, but I do think that there's going to be a little bit of a hesitancy to take those shots, and it could lower his performance a little bit. If you've noticed in the preseason, there was some pressure last week, and he got on the move pretty quickly, and he looked happy feet in his slide up, and he didn't make good decisions. When the pocket's clean, he's going to do well, but I think he's going to be very, very concerted in his effort to stay healthy, which will keep him probably healthy because we throw so fast. It's hard for them to get in there and just blow this guy apart. And he gets it out so fast. So I think he'll stay healthy. I think he will. But my concern is if this offensive line isn't doing what it's supposed to, McDaniel isn't doing what he's supposed to, he'll get a little bit of happy feet, which he has a tendency to do at times, and then his overall performance will degrade, and then that could cost us in the win column.
All right.
Real quick, I'll just say this guy, Tua, the decision making this is the same guy who was concussed. And then we lose him on the play when we played Buffalo. You know what I mean? It was marked last year as one of our biggest games. You know what I mean? That was supposed to be our we're going to show the changes we made and how we can compete with Buffalo. And it is going to be, I'm going to say it right now, it's Buffalo and Miami right now in this division. It is. Miami has the talent and to make something happen against Buffalo if we can stay healthy. But there's no way that this guy can be running and diving into DeMar Hamlin and then get concussed again. He has no sense of sliding. Maybe that
didn't he take karate school for that?
It's
come on.
And I don't think it's going to change at all.
By the way, real quick before you move on, Eli, my dude. I know you're new to the channel. I don't mind you talking a little trash, man, but respect the people in the chat a little bit better. You know what I mean? That's all. Like I don't mind talking a little trash, but don't go overboard. You know what I'm saying, man? Because I don't want to remove you. So far, you've been cool, man. So. Just a heads up. Just don't go that route. All right. Anyways, Curtis, let's get to you in the off season for the Dolphins.
Look, I've been talking about it for a couple of years. The league's moving towards pass balance. It's moving towards the run game. It's moving towards an accentuation of your offensive line play, running between the tackles to create balance because the defenses are playing thin, small, and pass. And, philosophically, I like the shift the Dolphins made towards the trenches on both sides. I think through application, Jordan Phillips in the 5th round looks like the best draft pick of the bunch right now as far as production. Grant has a load of talent, but he's got some issues right now, not big ones, but his weaknesses in the run defense, but he's showing stuff in the pass defense. I think there's a lot of room for him to grow. Jonas Savaianaya, he's got some severe technique issues, but unbelievable physical talent. I like that. And Ollie Gordon looks like he could be pretty good. And we got Marshall, who he's our starting nickel, which I'm a little concerned about, but we draft poorly. We usually draft poorly. And the last 2 seasons we've had steady drafts, and this one, if Phillips looks like he's going to be a player and I looks like he could be a player, and these 2 guys in the front can step up to what their talent says, it could be our best draft in a long time. Now, pulling it together for the season, my concern is that they look like they were leaning into the run game, especially inside, because that's the key. You look at I drafted up the offense for the Bills in 2022. And they finally added it in 23, midway through the season. And it was clear, you looked at the teams, and so the Bills got it. The Bills got it on offense. They invested in the offensive line. I think a lot of it's that they're staying healthy, and they've been able to run inside. You saw Membo go to the Jets. They've got a very invested offensive line. They're serious about running the football. The Patriots, I think one of the most intriguing positions of the draft is Will Campbell, because if you take the narrowness of his shoulders and the shortness of his arms, he's got the shortest length total in any player in 30 years. And if he could perform doing what he's doing, it really blows apart that stereotype. I like the kid. I don't want him to do well because I don't like the Patriots, but I respect what they're doing over there. But they're building that offense line. They're investing in the run game. And then there's my Dolphins. And the Dolphins try to run inside. They struggled to run inside through preseason. They ran against second stringers, and they struggled. They had some effect last week against the Jags, but it's the 27th run defense from last year with second and third rounders in there. So the team, just like McDaniel, has these strong portions of the team and then real weaknesses. You got I think we have the best front seven of any team in the AFC East. I mean, we're loaded. You got Brooks, you got Dodson, you got Gay. That's three guys. Then you got Chubb, you got Chop, you got Judon, and then you got Phillips, and then you got Sealer, and then you got Yellow Phillips, who's looking pretty good, and then you got Grant. That is an insane front seven. You got Minka to tie it together, but you don't have anybody past Minka. And you don't have anything certain at cornerback. So if this front gets after you, it's going to help mitigate these poor corners. But offensive lines and mobile quarterbacks can offset that pressure and then put the pressure on those corners. And then what happens? And then on offense, our receiving group is deep. I mean, the Washington brothers, these are really good picks for us, especially Malik. And then you got Waddle and Hill. You got Westbrook, they brought over from the Titans, big guy who could block, who can get into the red zone. We've got, who else do we have? We have, what's his name? The punt return. I can't remember his name. So you got a deep receiving group, but then we got no tight ends. And the offensive line is uncertain. I talked to this guy, Greg Maine. He was a college coach. He's a college player. And, you know, a lot of the gurus that cover the Dolphins, you know, they're bloviating on Jonah, but the guy's technique is totally off. His base is so wide. His first step comes up, comes down in the same spot. His hands are always on the shoulders. And I put it out there. I'm like, this is crazy that the staff would allow this guy to two portions, you know, mini camps and mandatory camps to come in and do this. It's still unbelievable that he's able to affect some movement and protection with this terrible technique. But it's gonna be a problem when he goes, if it doesn't get fixed against starters and guys game planning. Paul looks very good. He has one weakness, the in and out, inside out. But other than that, he's really good. I think he's at least a right tackle in a right-handed quarterback. He could be the left tackle. I like him. I think he's one of our best picks probably since Hunt. And then Brewer, he's one-dimensional. He can get to the next level, but he's very smart. He can there was one play where he got a stunt inside and a blitz, and he actually held his spot and held it off just enough for the back to get to him. So he's very good at that, but he can't drive guys out. Daniels has seen some slips in his game, but he's coming off the Achilles. We'll see, but he's been solid. But then we don't got a right tackle. Jackson's terrible. Jackson's always injured. He was injured twice this offseason. And then we got Borum and Keon Smith and, you know, Lamb, who we got rid of, who got let go from the Eagles, and he's back to us. So that inside run game doesn't look like it's going to be there. But I think we're a better pass team. I think we're going to have better protection than last year. Achan's dinged. Wright is out for a couple of weeks, and Ollie's there. But if you can't run the football, that front's going to get tired. You know how, as you saw with the Jets the last 2 years, that the time of possession wasn't there, the run game wasn't there, and a very good defense just stopped run stopping because it was so tired, so gassed, and then they broke down as the season progressed. So can we run inside? If we can, we'll be an extremely dangerous team. I'm not talking Super Bowl, but a dangerous team, because all they do is play wide leverage on the edges, linebackers at 6 yards, play over cover two, leave the A and B gap vacant to stop all our receiving talent. And then they dare us to run inside. And if we can, it will change that leverage, creep up the safeties, creep up the linebackers, and then it'll open up the pass game. But if we can't, it's going to be more of the same, inconsistency. And then over time, that defense will break down. So what do we got? I don't know. We've got a head-hunting team that's got strong sides and weak sides. And to me, it's going to come down to the inside run game and in health, because we're very thin. We're very, very thin.
But can you put it? I mean, you've always I see Miami as a team that's always had talent. Like over the past 4 years, you've had the talent, but you haven't really put it together well. And a lot of that talent is finesse, fast players that don't tend to work out late in the season, right? They get banged up. They don't play well in cold weather. In cold weather games, it's a nightmare with you guys. So, question is, can you finally answer all of that and get it right? Is McDaniel the guy to get it all right? Is Greer did he build a better team this year that can last longer in the season?
Oh, the team
that can play in January. Well, I'm talking about guys that can play in January. Like that's been the problem. You've had great. The weapons aren't bad to me. It's just putting it together, making it work. And of course injuries and
Question. So what about like off tackle or pulling guards? You guys don't do stuff like that because you got this.
No, we have to. We do smoke and mirrors. We do gap. We do slides. We do pulls,
the counters and stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff. But all that stuff doesn't work as well in the red zone. It doesn't work as well when a team's like, okay, we're gonna, and if they give you the A and B gap, the interior, and you don't take it, ultimately it's going to become a problem because you become predictable. We're very good. They had a beautiful play where they pulled Ingle, the tight end, and they pulled Daniels, sealed it, and it was a nice pop run. They've got that, but ultimately that stuff, if they're not coming inside and focusing on the full totality of the field, then they just load up wide and eventually you get a hiccup and then you get a negative play and then you're off schedule,
inside the red zone and stuff. You're right. Once
doesn't work because everybody's condensed. There's no depth,
You're right.
So, but we have it there. Paul can move guys. If Jonah gets his technique right, he can move guys, but his technique is so far off. And then,
do you think Chris?
You've got Julian Hill. No.
Do you think the timing?
We got rid of Farrell Brown, who was supposed to be our. Keep going.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. No, I was going to ask you about
a blocking tight end, man. We don't got a blocking tight end, which is crazy. So it looks like we're just going pure finesse.
Do you feel like the timing-based offense that you run there with Tua? Do you feel like defenses have now kind of figured that out, and that's why a little bit of struggle there with Tua lately in the offense?
No,
or you still like the timing-based offense?
It's just the leverage. Like when we first came out, linebackers would be at 3 yards. They would take a step forward on play action. The safeties would come up into the box and you'd have one safety high. They'd play under leverage. But then if you look midway through 23, they said they can't run inside. So you put right after the Denver game, you take your ends, you put them outside the tackles, you leave two DTs marooned between 5 offensive linemen. You take your linebackers, you drop them to 4 or 5 or 6 yards. All they do is read, react, or drop. There's no step up. You play cover 2 high to take away the big pass, and you play over leverage with your safeties, and occasionally maybe you do a robber because we run a read coverage system, not a progression based. So that's all based on coverage. And so if Tua looks, he says, oh, this is the coverage. So at pro snap, you flip the coverage, you bring the robber, you roll a guy out of his normal role, and then he throws that pick. But that's all based on you've totally vacated a 5-yard, 6-yard a gap between the line of scrimmage and the linebackers, and you leave that open and just cover everything else. You cover the middle, you drop the linebackers, so this pocket post that Hill and Waddle like to run is gone. You keep the high 2, so it's very difficult to get over the top. You keep your guys wide, and your cornerbacks look at the line of scrimmage, and that takes care of the outside running the screens, and that's all we do. So it's not really about that. It's just about you can't play a defense that's on offense and they just sit and do what they want to do. You've got to dictate, and we don't.
And then I'll ask this, I guess, question for you and Captain D. What's your concerns for Tua this season? Like, what's your main concerns when it comes to Tua this season?
offensive line depth.
For Tua,
Keep
protecting him.
Yeah.
All right, and that's it. That's your. I mean, other than that, you're pretty. You feel like pretty confident in Tua's ability this year. You're not. Nothing about the injuries, concussion that doesn't come into play as far as what your concerns are when it comes.
That ties in with offensive line depth. You know what I mean? Like if one of our offensive linemen go out, we don't have much depth right now. Curtis mentioned
we got Eichenberg. He's coming back. He's coming back.
We re-signed Kendall Lamb, like Curtis mentioned. Philly dropped him. He was a backup for us last year. I mean, other than that, we don't have much. That Keon Smith looks like he's a little bit better, but Borum is atrocious. I don't know what is going on with that. If Austin Jackson goes out, I mean, it's going to be a complete shit show.
I do like Brunskill. I think he's a solid. He's a 7. He should be an 8.
Callie saying, "What? Tua is still playing? What the fuck?" Yes, he is.
Yeah,
he's still playing.
Money do it too.
Yeah, he is getting paid a lot. I don't think Tua like for me, man. Like a lot of people they're tough on him, man. I don't feel like he's that bad of a quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. Yeah, I think he's a good quarterback when protected. He can make plays. He has good accuracy, good arm. The only, like I said, my only knocks on Tua, really honestly, for his whole career is I feel like when the game is close and it's a tight game, he makes some mistakes there. He gets a little rattled at times, and then of course the injury factor. Like that is a major.
The biggest piece.
That's the biggest piece that's the biggest red flag when it comes to it. Outside that, like I said, I feel like he's done well. He's done good. He puts up decent numbers, and you see the Dolphins' offense struggle when he's not on the field. I mean, it's true. So
hey, Tom, look, you just look at it like this. In 2022, he threw a 2.35 clean time, 2.35 seconds. I think he had a blitz rate of 25.5%. I think we had a screen rate about 10 or 12%. That is like still fast, but that's in the average range, which most quarterbacks operate in. Last year, we threw 2.04, 20% screens. And here's the killer. This is irrefutable. We were blitzed least in the league at 20.5%, but still had 20% screens. Screens are meant to offset the blitz, take advantage of it. And we threw the fastest by 0.15 seconds. And the average, we were about almost a third of a second less. And all that tied together says they're masking the offensive line. He could operate at a higher throw rate in time value, and he had his best, most impactful season. He was top 5 in all like attack stats and passing. But because Greer is a jackass and he built this team one-dimensional and said, hey, I got a quarterback that can take away my bad draft picks and my poor ability to draft the offensive line and mask it, then he carries the load as far as to it. He does get a little choky in big situations, but he's set up to fail in many ways, and he's got the injury history, and he's not ultra mobile. But this is a terrible offensive design. It's Idiotville. And Chris Greer is the idiot. He's the dunce in the room. If things don't go well, just curious, if things don't go well, and I guess this is for you and Captain D, this season, I guess it's a 2-part question. Do you see McDaniels and Greer being fired this season or after the season? And do you think whoever comes in next as head coach and GM moves on from Tua? So either one, Curtis, Captain D, go for it. If this season doesn't go well. What do you think, D? I've been talking for a while.
I mean, I've said it before. I mean, if this thing starts out rough, I think McDaniels is done. I think he's going to be fired. Weaver, people are already, even though Weaver he's never been a head coach in this league. He looks the part. I don't know if Weaver, he looks the part. You know what I mean? And I think people right now are kind of salivating at what could Weaver possibly do for this team. Who the hell knows? I mean,
he got some interviews this year, didn't he? Weaver?
He did,
Excellent.
and he did not get he
New
didn't
Orleans
get chosen. Yep. He wasn't chosen, which is great for us because I think he's a solid. I wouldn't say a great defensive
Yeah.
coordinator.
He ain't trying to go to freaking New Orleans.
Exactly. But I mean, hey, a head coaching job is a head coaching job. Once you get
Right, yeah, you take it, yeah.
you take it. You know
Oh,
what I mean? But I know New Orleans is a rough spot right now. But
yeah,
it just seems like McDaniel is having a hard time. People are questioning how what's the communication with the players, what's the game plan, can we change things up? I think they can, but if it goes sour, I think McDaniels is going to be gone very quickly.
What about Greer?
No.
Package deal.
Greer
see to stay. Curtis
knows,
thinks Greer ain't
Who
going
knows?
nowhere, baby.
I think Greer's going to stay. They'll just move some pieces around. There's
that's
some
the
other
player.
leadership in the hierarchy of the Dolphins organization.
He's mentally breaking down. Have you seen his interviews, D? This is
they're
a guy
horrible,
who's
yeah.
in meltdown mode.
Which, by the
Meltdown
way, I talked to Tommy about this. Chris Greer spoke. Whoever is emailing Chris Greer that
that's insane.
I wish your kids had cancer.
Terrible.
That's just terrible.
Oh my God.
I mean, we're talking about football. Here.
Yeah, but
that won't be the last time that happens.
Side note to that. There are people getting killed now because someone disagrees with them. Every GM in this league is getting some kind of nasty. For Chris Greer to end on that and then to walk off, that's playing the sympathy part.
I
you know
agree.
what I mean? Like, it's
I
totally
agree.
wrong. But the whole thing was him like looking down. I don't judge myself. Like, it was weird, dude. It was like somebody who's having a mental breakdown, and then he throws that out there and walks off. It is so weak, so pathetic. It's terrible what was done to him. But you know how many of these players are getting
Exactly.
stuff. I mean, it's just weak.
Mark
It's
Andrews
terrible.
got death threats. I mean,
it's-
that's the nature of the beast. Honestly,
Yeah,
when things are going bad,
Unfortunately,
stupid
yeah.
people out there. Yeah,
He never took once ownership. He just kept saying, "I never judge myself. I just look at us, we the team." Like Joe Rose, who's a former player, shows this. There's no we with GM. You're in charge. Eisenhower said true leadership is that if you delegate responsibilities, you're totally responsible. That true leadership is taking blame for everything that fails and then giving accolades to those below you when everything succeeds. Chris Greer never does that. He is the worst. Terrible what happened to him.
I think it's probably the toughest job in one of the toughest jobs because you have to try and you're judged on basically the picks that you make. You're in charge of whoever's coming into an agreement with the pick that's going to be made in your draft, in each draft. And then you're responsible for the money that's being spent on contracts. And Chris Greer, I think that's what I think he's done well in some drafts and he's failed in some drafts. And I think that can go for any GM across the board. I think the accountability and some of the ways he's expressed himself in the past about the offensive line has just rubbed everybody the wrong way. And especially his last interview, it kind of showed no gap. And I do agree with you, Curtis. It showed that I think he was trying to play that role of like, woe was me. I mean, people are saying this, but you got to put your big boy pants on in that job.
He doesn't have. This is how. Hold on, one last bit.
Right.
This is Chris Greer. Say what you want about Brian Flores. I think the guy had a lot of qualities. He totally melted down and did some things wrong. But all I said is he can't get along with people. And then you find out Van Noy, the big draft pick they have, said, I was fired in a war with the owner, with the GM and the head coach, and spite. And that was Greer. And it never came out. It was never questioned. He is got a whole crew of people in the media that cover for him, and he's never dealt with fairly. You're got a coach who's going through his third season. He ends up with almost a winning season. What is it, 10 wins or 9 wins? He gets fired, and nothing's just said during the way, like, hey, Chris Greer fired Van Noy out of spite. It's all Flores got dead bodies in the basement, and all he says, I'll tell about it someday. He's a snake. He's a corporate snake who stabs people in the back. He's got no backbone. He never takes ownership. He's a weak man. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I don't think he should be getting emails like that, but he's weak. He's a coward. He's a snake.
Well, there's Curtis's opinion.
I mean, in the most nice terms.
All right. Roy says, should Stephen Ross also be to blame for allowing Greer to remain? And I'll answer that real quick, and you guys can. Yes, the owner's always to blame when they don't move on from a coach or GM. But go ahead, Curtis and Captain Duke.
I don't want to dig anymore. I got my head hurts.
No, Curtis is getting. Curtis is pissed.
Tommy.
Greer's
Yeah.
Ross has got just a bad mark on him. Nobody of any real salt wants to come here. So he's got to work with these guys. You think that McDaniel, who was the third or fourth on his list for head coaches last year, was his first option? Nobody of any sort wants to work here because it's a den of snakes.
Yeah. I think Eli went and ran off after I told him that. Oh, well, sorry, Eli.
Apparently,
You can
I
come.
noticed.
You're welcome back, though, if you ever want to come back. Anyways, moving on to my team, the AFC East champions, baby. And that's all we are, which I want more. You know what I mean? And I'm not gloating. It's just, it's listen, the one thing that the Patriots did is they won the East and they also won Super Bowls. And I'm pissed. I want a Super Bowl, right? And I think all of Bill's Mafia obviously want the same, but there's some out there that just want to remain good. And that good to me is not good enough. And look, I understand what you guys are talking about Greer, because we got a lot of fans now are throwing shade at our GM, Brandon Beane, who I feel has done a good job. Has he been great? No. Has he made mistakes? Yes. But if you can go across the league, and I think every team's GM has made mistakes. Everyone. There's no perfect GM out there. There's some that are better. There's some that are better. There's some that, there's some for sure. There's some that are better. Yeah, there's some that are top 5, top 3, no doubt. But I think there's also a category of really good GMs and good GMs and horrendous GMs.
Absolutely right.
You know what I mean? But they've all have had their blunders, right? I mean, everyone, right? It's funny because we talk about like, we passed up on DK Metcalf. Yeah, and so did a shitload of other teams. Like, so it's, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, literally everyone. So it happens, right? You can't get it all right. But, listen, at the end of the day, they know their responsibility and they know what it brings. It brings attention. If you're a GM, head coach, and quarterback, you got the spotlight on you. And it sucks, but that's just the nature of the beast, right? That's why you're paid the big bucks as a quarterback. That's why you're paid the big bucks as a head coach and a GM. But a lot of people don't realize when you're a GM, you got a ton of other people working for you. You got the scouting department. You got assistant GM. You got so much in that room that isn't taking the heat. It's only the GM, right? Because he built that team. He built that team around him, the scouts, the assistant GM, but they all play a part, and nobody really kind of focuses in on that. They focus in on the one guy. And sometimes it's wrong, but at the end of the day, if that's who you built around you and things aren't going good, change has to be made eventually, right? You cannot keep going year after year making the same mistakes. And my GM, I feel like he's done good, but there has to come a time where you eventually have to go all in, and I do believe in that term. When you have a great quarterback that's in his prime still, and you're in a win mode now, eventually that window closes, and you have to take chances. Yeah, you have to. Yes, go in like LA, who when LA did it, LA did it, and they were bad for a couple years, and they're right back in the mix. If your GM knows what he's doing, it's okay to kind of bend the cap a little bit to, to take more bold chances to get that Super Bowl. You have to do it. Philadelphia did it. We're bad for 2 years, and they went right back to the Super Bowl. So that's how it's done. That's my opinion on how you eventually have to go all in. And I don't believe in that term when it comes to a team that's on a rebuild. Like, I want to say, hey, the Patriots need to go all in right now. Like, no, because they're on a rebuild mode. You got to build that team up, build the quarter. But you don't want to be year 9 in Drake May's career with a good team constantly in the playoffs, but nothing to show for it. And that's how I feel about my Buffalo Bills. It's like, yeah, AFC East are great and all, but we need to get to a Super Bowl. And my coach, same thing. I think he's a good coach, but I don't think he's a great coach. And I really honestly believe Josh Allen makes him a better head coach than he really is. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. Yeah, people can say what they want. He's a defensive-minded head coach who has a defense that's still a problem. And you should never, ever have that. If you have an offensive-minded head coach and your offense has been a problem for the whole time he was here, you would say, he got to go. And I asked this question, too. I'm like, we always talk about, like, people, I want McDermott. He's been a winning coach. Okay, if McDermott was, because he's a defensive-minded head coach, if he was your defensive coordinator for 9 years, and this has been the bad defense, you would already said, get him out of town, fire him. It's his scheme. He's a defensive-minded head coach, and the defense fails us every playoff. That goes back on the coach, that goes back on scheme, and that goes back on McDermott. And I just don't, it's crazy because we talk about ownership. The owner has to eventually go, we need a new voice in the room. We need a new, right? And they don't, I think they're scared of change. They're scared of failure. They're scared of reverting back to missing the playoffs. But if you are like that, you'll never get better. You never will get better, and that's my problem with my team.
Can't get complacent.
Can't get complacent. You and honestly, these owners, they care about putting money. They care about putting butts in these seats. As long as they're winning,
so,
as long as we're winning, everything's good here. No, don't it's all good. We're selling jerseys. We're selling out. Fans are happy. But fans like me who are real and go, man, okay, I want more. I've been wanting more. And there's nothing to show for it. Yeah, I get a little bit upset, a little angry, right? That we're not the team that's, trading up to get an impactful player. We're just staying put, or we're trading back, or we're not trying to trade for a guy that's on the market that can actually improve your team right away. No, we want to bring back veterans on 1-year deals, and you just kind of keep on through that cycle. So that's where my team is at right now. I feel it's a really good team. I feel it's like a playoff team. I still feel like we can win the East because I still feel like we have the best quarterback right now in the division still. I think Drake May's on his way up. Year 2 will tell a lot. I think the Dolphins have a ton of talent. I think, honestly, the Dolphins will probably be in second place this year if I had to, bet on it. I think the Jets are just still kind of in that rebuild mode. And I think the Patriots are going to give the Dolphins a fight for that second place. But I do think ultimately the Dolphins probably get that second place spot because of the talent, the veteran talent on that team. But with that being said, the Dolphins could fall apart by week 4, week 5, right? And who knows, right? And then you're talking about the Patriots and the Jets. But I just don't see the Jets this season being a threat. I don't, and it's not a knock on you, Anthony, and we'll go to that in a minute, but I just think right now with your quarterback situation, I don't like it. I think Fields is really a toss-up, like what he can be, and I kind of think I know what he is. I don't think it's I think and it's not bad. Like honestly, worst case, you have him as a backup, right? And then you draft a quarterback and you have him sit behind him for 1 year and go from there. But I think like New England for me about a rebuild, I think they're doing it right. And I always say that about teams, like stop fucking around and getting veteran, aging quarterbacks. It doesn't work. Keep going through the draft. If you fail on your quarterback, go again. Keep doing it until you find one. And when you find one, then you build around him, right? And once you build around him, now you're talking, right? Because it doesn't matter about the rest of the defense could be like shit like my defense, but if you have a great quarterback, you're making the playoffs, more than likely. He's going in to lead your team. And that's how I feel like my team's been. Because no Josh Allen, we are a 5-win team. And that's the reality of it. And I'll stick with that. So that's how I feel like my offseason went. I felt like we got a little better, but I don't think we, got way better. I thought we added some decent pieces. I didn't like the Ogunjobi signing, knowing that he's suspended for 6 games. He won't be back till week 8. That's a waste of money. A 1-year deal. It's just a waste of money. I honestly, I'm not thrilled about the Bosa signing. A guy that's been injured for the past, 3 seasons. He has not put up good numbers. My co-host, Mikey, loves the signing. And listen, I'll love it if he performs in the playoffs. I don't give a shit about the regular season. I don't care if he gets 1 sack in the regular season. If he can perform in the playoffs, then he's worth every penny. But if he doesn't, and he's not available in the playoffs, another terrible signing by Brandon Beane. And it's not a cheap one, by the way. So I just don't like when we do shit like that. If it works out, great. But I didn't care for that signing.
Chargers out of you, bro. He's a Charger, man.
Yeah, I just didn't. We'll see. Can he get back to the? Yeah, can he come back to the year 1, year 2 Joey Bosa in the playoffs? I would love it. Then we're worth every penny. The draft for us, once again, we pretty much went all defense, and I like some of the draft picks. Landon Jackson, I was excited for, but boy, he had a miserable preseason. Miserable, it was terrible. But we'll see. He's young. You never know. A guy like that, I feel like he needs time to grow as an athlete, as an NFL player. It's up to him, at this point, to work with the coaches and get better at his craft. But right now, I don't see it. TJ Sanders, I think, is a really solid player. I think he could be really good. I think he's actually going to be Ed Oliver's replacement when Ed Oliver's contract's up. But yeah, Deion Walker, big guy, not a true one tech though, which I thought we needed. We failed with that. It was a bad decision by Brandon Beane, but ultimately I thought our draft went well. It wasn't great. And we have safety concerns. I feel like they put all their eggs in one basket with Cole Bishop, and that experiment is kind of failing because you got Cole Bishop, DeMar Hamlin. They don't know yet who's starting week 1. Cole Bishop can't stay healthy. This is his second year where he's missing time in the offseason at camp. DeMar Hamlin, we all know who he is by now. Great guy, great story, but he's not a starting safety, and we're throwing him in there because we have to. And we bring Jordan Poyer back, which is great. He's a practice squad guy. But he's lost more than one step, right? So we're kind of, safety department is not good for us. Corner right now, once again, we draft Max Harrison. What happens? He gets hurt, right? We pass up on Will Johnson from Michigan, which everybody did, by the way. Real bad mistake. He's already got the number 1 role in Arizona, right? He's locking down their guys over there. And we got a guy we drafted who already got hurt. Trey White, we brung in as like a mentor. Guess what? He's your CB2, and guess what? He got hurt. So we're just I don't understand some of the moves we do sometimes. But I do like the fact that we're trying to go young. And it does show me that Brandon Beane is understanding now that you have to eventually start drafting and developing and getting younger players on this defense and on this team in general. So we'll see what happens this year. I think we're still a good team and we're a playoff team. But, we'll find out. We'll find out when playoff time. That's really what happens here in Buffalo. So anyways, let's move on to Anthony, who has not said a single word since I said hello, Anthony. Hour. Yeah, and Anthony's just like, guys, like, hey, over here. Anthony. Yes, you were. That's how it works. Like fantasy draft, right? You're number 1. You got the first pick, but you got to wait like a motherfucker. Yeah, you got to wait for a motherfucker. Anthony. What is your, real expectations this year? Because I saw you shaking your head. You're like, nope, Jets are going Super Bowl, baby. White shoes all year.
I don't know if that's what I was shaking my head about.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Listen, I think the defense takes another step in the right direction this year. My biggest question is what's this offense going to be? Justin Fields, I feel like what the Jets have done is they put us in an alternate universe. Back in the draft when it was Zach Wilson coming out, I wanted Justin Fields. I wanted nothing to do with Zach Wilson at the time. And now they've given us that luxury of reliving this, knowing what we know out of Justin Fields for the last few years. Since the draft. Listen, I said it earlier, when I was talking about the team, I think it's really coming down to that they're going to basically ride or die with Justin Fields in this running style offense, like a heavy run. It's basically going to be just run, and then if it's a long situation, where's Garrett Wilson? Because there's literally nobody else as a receiver that strikes fear in your eyes from that standpoint. You might have situations on third down where teams basically cover Garrett Wilson like it's a punt. Because, literally put 2 corners there because I don't know who else is going to make a catch. That's how kind of crazy this receiving room is. I know there's, a lot out there about them exploring other options, but you're not getting good receivers this late in the season. unless someone begs for a trade out of their team. But why would they beg a trade to have Justin Fields throwing them in football? But realistic expectations, I mean, their worst case scenario, this team, everything could kind of bottom out to a 4-win type of situation. Really best situation, I mean, 8 or 9 wins. I really, and that's like saying a lot. I don't look at the schedule. I mean, I don't know how they get to 9 wins, but I really.
So no train, no choo-choo train this year.
No choo-choo train, but I'll tell you what. That train is at the station.
Is it? It's back there. We're just fueling up. Okay.
There are tickets. There's a ticket salesman there.
You have him bored.
Nice.
They will give you
ticket sales.
But I'll tell you what. They win a couple of games. Those tickets are going to start selling very, very, very fast. And right now is your time to get it because you're probably getting a cheap rate.
Clearance, baby.
Oh, yeah. Clearance.
Half off.
Wait until week 3, week 4, with 4-0. Then the choo-choo starts happening.
That's right. What's going on with Breece Hall in that situation? I heard he's not going to be RB1. Is that true?
He'll be the first running back.
Okay.
He'll probably, all honesty, he'll probably be the second in targets on the team. I mean, he's that kind of player. I mean, assuming he stays healthy for the year, he's probably that'll probably be him. Because I mean, outside of Garrett Wilson, I really just don't know on offense who you're looking at to be your primary playmaker. He'll be the running back 1. They're going to do different things with him to try and get him the ball in space. Braylon Allen will get an uptick in his carries. I think last year he was about 20%, 25%. I think maybe this year he gets up to like 35%. But I think Breece Hall is still going to be out on the field plenty because you have no choice. You need skill players out there that strike fear in a defense. And outside of Garrett Wilson, he's the only one.
Okay. Curtis, by the way, this is going to be you this season.
Congratulations for being shit. Well done for being shit, and well done for being shit. What was going on there? Where was the teamwork? Where was the spirit? Where was the communication? And what the fuck was going on?
Is that going to be you this year?
It could be. We'll see. That's the thing is Dolphins got to come in at least second in this division. If not, that would be me.
That's going to be you. Okay. Juan, what's your expectations, man, going into the season?
Well, are we like inputting everybody or just our teams?
Just your teams.
Okay. For us, a lot of things have to go right because.
I'm sorry. Did you want me to put that slide up for you or no? Not yet. I forgot all about it.
Yeah, you can put that up now because I might as well talk about that now because you mentioned because it kind of ties in with what you're talking about your team about getting younger and drafting well. Mm-hmm. This picture right here is the last 1, 2, 3, 4 drafts before this coming year, this year that is passed, on adding talent to this team. See, this right here is the reason why you start to suck. Look at all the X's. And this is before like cut days too. So see all those players on the 22 draft, which is the Cole Strange draft. Look at all that shit. Look at all the X's. Look at all the ass. Look at all the stank that's in there.
I see players on a roster now. Yeah.
Yikes. That's how you suck. That's how
2022. Terrible.
Hey,
drafts, you can see
is gone.
Holy crap.
I didn't insane.
Jack Jones is on there and he's on our team now, so that's
holy crap. I didn't realize how bad.
This is why we suck.
Hey, when did you draft from Andre Stevenson? I don't see him on there.
Right there, 21, all at the end.
Oh,
okay, far right.
Oh, yeah. So, holy cow, I didn't think it was that long. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he has a second contract, unfortunately. It's that bad, dude. But funny, that's Belichick's second to last draft. The draft after, we actually have some players there, which is hilarious to me. But nobody cares about that because the draft before is literally an all-time bad draft. And 24.
I think Bean. I changed my mind. By the way, Bean's a really good.
Yeah, there you go. See, you see.
Yikes!
Hey, appreciate what you got. And at 24, Javon Baker is now an X. So there's only 2 players from last year's draft that's on the team. In last year's draft, we only have 2 players left. Because Javon Baker's cut. He's in Philly now. So we gotta this draft. This is gonna set up my prediction thing because this 2025 draft class needs to hit. It has to hit. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. Those guys don't play well. We're right back to where we freaking started. Back to going 5 wins, four wins, or whatever, because we need the talent. These kids need to play well. It's just that simple. McDaniels needs to get these kids together and play up on offense. This has to work. They have no choice. Luckily, we went, and for some reason, I don't know why Belichick wasn't a fan of drafting players from big, nice schools like LSU and stuff. I don't know why he was just doing that for the past 25 years. But we got kids from big schools, and one of them is about to kill, apparently, according to the preseason. And Trevion Henderson, our left tackle, is from LSU. We have an interior guy from Georgia. We're actually drafting from real big schools. So hopefully these guys will hit. Like I don't look. Belichick went down for a long time, but let's stop talking about the past, shall we? As long as we play disciplined football, and that is the biggest thing that Mike Vrabel said he's going to be hitting in his first year. Take the stupid out of our game. If we're able to play disciplined football, no penalties, no stupid coverage buff, none of that stuff happens this year, that is around 500 level football. So what I think is going to happen with this team, especially since this preseason, we had maybe literally 2 or 3 penalties in all 3 of these games combined. We haven't gotten any real penalties at all. So it's already showing itself. In all the joint practices, we have not been getting penalized. And all of that stuff is gone. The coaching alone is elevating the talent level that we have here. And that's all I've asked for since last year. So with that being said, I think this team still, because I saw somebody in the comment talking about wild card. I don't know about that. I like 8 wins for my team. I'm very positive of 8.
Yeah.
500 football. That's what I want. That's what I'm asking for. I want a watchable product because we have not had a watchable product since early 2021. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah.
Let me be able to look and not vomit because of all the flags and all the coverage buff and all the blocking schemes, breakdowns, all that crap can get out the window and let us play 500 football. It's sad how that's what I have to beg for. That's how bad we've been in the last few years.
But you know what?
Football.
But that's if you guys can win 8 games, like you said, 500, around 500, right? 8, 9, whatever. At least that's a good outlook of what you guys can, become, or because you have a great cap right now. You still have a lot of money. You still, and even if you're winning 8 games, then you have good draft picks, right? You're gonna have decent draft picks, so you're doing it the right way. As long as, like you said, it's around that 500 range. You're showing some kind of movement in the right direction, right? And I get it. Like it took us forever to get in that right, where you're like, okay, we're finally getting in the right direction. So
y'all started showing those signs. I think 2017. Y'all started
2017.
Once Josh got developed by 2020, boom, there's your 12th year. Yeah.
So 2017 was McDermott's first year. No, Josh came the next year, which we were bad, but that was fine. That was not even supposed to be. But 2019 is where you really started seeing the change and the team and building around Josh, Sean Brown, Colby. That's what I'm talking about. You see, it took a year for them to start really kind of building around. Okay, now you got your guy, your franchise guy, to start building around him. And I feel like that's what they did. And they brought in Stephon Diggs 2020, and then But my problem too on my team though, since Stephon Diggs though, they haven't really brought in Josh any help, like real true help. And that's another knock that I kind of go back to on Brandon Beane. It's like you can't just stop. Josh is great, he's awesome, but he needs help. This is football is a team sport, man. It's not on one guy. He needs help, right? Just like every other. If you got one bad link on your offensive line could be shit because of that one guy, right? That's just kind of fucking things up. So he needs help, man. He really needs help. And I feel like Brandon Beane's I feel like they went away from the offense and they're still trying to get the defense right. And that's because McDermott keeps, wanting certain players that fit his scheme, his way, and it's letting the team down. So I hope eventually I'm hoping that they have in time bring a more help at receiver for Josh. I like the room they got now. And by the way, we're running this, everybody eats. We did it last year. This is what I call everybody eats 2.0 on my team. So we got Palmer, who, Captain D loves. He's Canadian. Hey, Canadian. And then we got, Elijah Moore, who, yeah, he's right next to him. We got Elijah Moore, who I like. Yeah, Tyrell Shavers, I'm really high on him. I think he could be a good player. And Khalil Shakir, who I think is very underrated. Really good receiver who I think has still room to grow as an athlete. So I like the room, but I don't love it, right? You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. I will say this. Everybody eats works if everybody does their part. You know what I mean? And if the OC knows what strengths and weaknesses he has in that room. If he doesn't, if you got an elite, if you got a guy who runs a 4-3, right, a receiver, then you should use him more like a gadget guy. You should use him over the top. Get him involved with certain parts of the offense.
Speed. Yeah.
Use the speed, right? If you got a guy that is tall, right, and is physical, okay, use him more in the red zone, right? Use him as a slot against a smaller nickel or a linebacker, right? Like, you got to use these guys the right way if you're going to do the everybody eats mentality, or it won't work, right? It just won't work then. So I'm hoping this year Joe Brady kind of figures each guy out and uses them for his advantage on offense. So we'll see when that comes. But Captain D, what's your expectations for the Dolphins season this year?
Up and down. Real quick, the chat is definitely live today. James, Dolphins are sixth best team in Florida. Pop Warner coach flag football.
Yeah. Sixth best. I mean, my God, Curtis, do you agree with that? Sixth best?
No,
you got to be better than that. No,
James, you got to come down to reality. And I'm going to lead into that. If this team is healthy, a healthy offensive line that can efficiently protect Tua, and we can run the football, like Curtis said earlier, on the inside, this can be a difficult team to deal with. Let's be honest here. We have a top load of talent on the offensive. And let me just say, if the defensive front can stay healthy as well, it's going to be a long day, long night for any opposing team, because we have an array of pass rushers that can get to the quarterback. Now, cornerback, that might be dicey, but if we can get there, it's good. Yeah, cornerback is going to be rough, but if we can get there and offset a couple things, we could really, really make a difference in games. But we are relying upon some veterans who have been injured and are dealing with some stuff. Judon, I love the signing of Judon. But no, with health, it can be a very good team. Injuries, things are going to start, falling out of place a little bit. So, what I'm expecting as a healthy team, I'm going to go ahead and say this is a 10-win team, healthy. If we are injured team, this could be a 5 to 6-win team.
Oof. Okay. All right. Okay. Curtis, what do you see? Expectations.
My evaluation was 7 to 9 wins and a stretch goal of 10. I think this team's going to be very tough against average to slightly above average teams. We're just going to overwhelm them with the receiving group as long as the weather's not terrible. And the defensive front's going to overwhelm them. It's going to come down to those primetime games against good teams, some bad weather. So it's not going to be easy. I think the Jets, we got to beat the Jets and Pats 4 times. We've got to win this Colts game. We're going in without Jason Sanders. So that's the key to our season right there. 4 wins against the Jets and the Pats and beating the Colts week 1.
So here's your schedule. If you guys want to kind of, break it down, but at least see what's on tap for you guys. So you start out at Indy. Are you confident in that game, Curtis Academy?
I think it leans. I think that because you got Jones there, who's got crazy eyes, he could be hit or miss, more to miss. I think it's going to be a tough game without Sanders. It's going to be on the road. Irsay died. They're going to want to play hard. I think we win it, but I'm not guaranteeing it. But if we lose it, it's going to start a big problem down. We've got to win that game. If we lose that game, it could start getting ugly.
And how do you feel overall? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Captain D. Sorry about that.
I mean, real quick, I'll just say they have the Colts. They're favoring the Colts slightly in this game. I don't see it. I think
that is.
What? Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. It's interesting that they favor them.
Yeah,
I want to favor them.
I don't see it that way at all. I think we're, as far as everyone's healthy, which it's looking like it's going to be on our defense, except for a couple pieces here and there. But I think we're going to be wrecking havoc in this game. It does, cause a red flag with Jason Sanders not being there. But I think this defense is gonna cause a lot of havoc in this game. A lot of havoc.
Well, don't worry, our kicker's also banged up. So kickers over here, we're dealing with a pelvic injury. Callie coming in, not worried about the Bills' offense. We're more worried about the defense. I'm with you in the third and long. I'm not worried about the offense, Callie. You know me. Like, I think the offense is fine, but it could always do better. Like, so that's one thing. Like I see your comments been top 3 last year. Doesn't mean we'll be top 3 this year. And you can always try to improve your team, no matter what. You always have to try to improve your team to get better. So I do feel like we added some better pieces on offense, but it also doesn't hurt to have an elite type receiver if you can get one. Like why wouldn't you want one? So that doesn't really. I don't go with that all the time. Like that whole you don't need an elite. But why? If he's available, why not take him? Right? If you can have him on your team, that's just a dumb thing to say. Like,
we were talking
of
about
course
the
that. Yeah. Sorry, I know. These comments coming in this get me mad. Anyways, so what do you feel about your schedule? You guys like your schedule here? You guys feel like you have a favorable schedule or a tough schedule?
I think it's tough. We got some tough primetime games. McDaniel struggles in primetime games. We got some good teams in primetime. Although the Jets, we play them in primetime, but it's, they're a division opponent. Division opponents can be notoriously tough. I think that's the most manageable, but I think you got the Baltimore, you got Washington. Who else do we have in primetime? I'm trying to remember.
Right here. So you got
Steelers. I think the Steelers.
You got Washington. You got Buffalo.
All of us. That's tough.
You got Buffalo. You got the Jets. You got the Jets. You got Baltimore. You got Washington, and you have Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
those are your primes.
And Cincinnati.
Damn that.
Oh, and Cincy. Oh, you're right. I didn't even see that. And Cincinnati, 8 o'clock.
That December stretch is tough.
Yeah.
Damn, you got a 9:30 in the morning game. Against Washington. 9:30 a.m. NFL Network Sunday. 11.
That means that's travel somewhere. I don't know. That's like London or something.
Yeah, we're going to Spain.
Boy,
Spain.
I hate those kind of games, man.
So
thank God we don't have to travel.
We got to beat the Colts and beat the Jets and Pats four times, or else it's gonna be sticky.
All right. So you got you between 7 and 9, but maybe 10.
Yeah, stretch goal. If everything works out beautiful.
Jeez, rough division for you guys this year. Thank God we're a great team.
Y'all good. Trust me, you're good. It's not the year. We got to get challenged. Not this year.
Thank God we don't have those problems. Anyways, Roy, it would be nice to actually have to go to guy in the receiver room. Yeah, I got you. Redskins gonna cook the fish. Man, cooking the fish.
I don't like that team. I don't know about that.
Jets are going to be good with Fields. What do you feel like with that, guys? Like, I'll go around the room. What do you feel about Fields? Curtis, think he's a good quarterback? You think he'll last with the Jets?
I think he'll work in what they're trying to do. He's hit or miss. I've seen some plays where he just throws it into the ground. Yeah. He's got a little Zach Wilson in him where he just doesn't make the routine passes, and in what they're trying to do, he's got to. But he can get on the move. I think he could do something. I just don't think he's going to take him really far unless he makes dramatic improvements.
I swear I would use.
So I don't know.
I would use him as a Cordell Stewart type of quarterback.
That's what I was thinking.
Like how they
just use his
like,
legs,
dude. Yes, bro. Like get yourself a quarterback and just be like, hey man, if you want to be on this team, we think we can we can use you like this, and you'll see time. You know what I mean? Like Cordell Stewart did before he was a starting quarterback. But I felt like that was like Pittsburgh dropped the ball last year with that. I felt like, man, they could have used Fields at times. They should have put him in and out of the game. Like, who cares about Russell Wilson? They both were going. So at least try to see if that worked. And I felt like they didn't do that. But Anthony, like, what do you feel about that? You feel like he would be good in that sense? Like, if you guys bring in another quarterback and kind of, put Fields in and out, if he would accept that role as like a, Cordell Stewart type of quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I think he'd accept that role. I mean, I don't know if he's like jumping on it. Listen, this season.
I don't know who's jumping with him to sign him. He's
got a lot of money on the table. I don't think he's running away from that. But I mean, again, it really comes down to like the Jets built this offense around the run. He's a running quarterback, and that's how they're gonna play their games. They're gonna play the games. They're gonna try and win the time possession. They're going to try and keep the offense for the other team off the field as much as possible, keep that defense fresh. Because, again, I expect this defense to take a step in the right direction and not be burnt out as they were in previous years with Zach Wilson throwing the football and, basically just revolving door for that position. But
you're seeing it like how the Bears used them that one year, where they just pretty much ran them the whole time. Really, he was a straight-up running quarterback there.
The one difference, though, is that he never really had as good of an offensive line with the Bears. He had plenty of weapons there. That's different.
Yeah, I know. That's true. Yeah.
He had a lot of weapons there, but they were putting him in a position where he had to, run away instead of, truly, using his strengths with a strong offensive line in front of him. I think that's a difference he's going to have here. But, yeah, they're just lacking weapons is the problem, I think, outside of Garrett Wilson.
I just feel like he could, like I said, he could be more like if you put him in that college football type, more of a quarterback role, which is RPO, type of quarterback, runs a little bit more than he throws. You know what I mean? Like, I think then if you design your offense in that style, I think it could work, at least for the year while he's there, because he's just not, passing game, it's just not his strong suit. So I feel like, hey, his strong suit is his legs, right? Getting him out of the, out to the side, right? Getting him out of, getting him in motion. You know what I mean? Getting boots, all that stuff. But I don't know. We'll see when it comes to you guys, man. I'm very curious how long you guys stick with him.
I think the vision for the Jets really is similar to what it was in 2009, 2010. Back then, Mark Sanchez, but building around a strong running game, strong offensive line, a strong defense, win the time possession, and that's the formula that they're going to go with. Once the game gets out of hand, maybe it's a 2-score game. That's going to be a lot to work with for Justin Fields in this offense. I don't know how they're going to kind of recoup from being down by multiple possessions, but if they keep these games close, they can steal a couple. And that's where I fall on the line of okay, they can be anywhere from 5 wins to 9 wins, depending on how those close games go.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so I think that's it. That's gonna, unless anybody has anything to say. Anybody have any rants? Anybody want to do any rants this week? I mean, Curtis is gonna rant.
I got plenty of time for the season, so
right. Anybody got anything?
What they do.
I don't have a rant, but I will say after I've talked to you about when the Buffalo Bills have had those tough losses, we talked about coaching, and if anybody hasn't watched the Dallas Cowboys documentary on Netflix, I think that's changed my mind as far as bringing in a coach that could make a difference. And I think Buffalo is at that spot right now where a new coach could possibly change something, and it shows in that documentary. Landry, if anybody hasn't watched it, it's great. Check it out.
Team one, the one on Netflix.
It's good. It's good.
It's really good. And Jimmy was a motherfucker. Jimmy Johnson was a
dude.
He
talk about two guys with egos, right, Captain D? I mean, massive egos with Jerry and what's his name, man? Holy shit! I mean, massive ego. Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson. Think about it. Two guys won a Super Bowl back to back, and you fire your head coach over basically who wanted more credit. I mean, at the end of the day, that's all it was about.
They haven't done anything since 1995. That right there.
Yeah.
He was so stupid. He should just wait to the end of the third season and try to get 3 in a row and then deal with it.
It was crazy. And they were talking mad shit, right? I mean, I don't know if you saw that, Captain D, like going on like talking to interviewers, like, oh, he don't know. Like Jimmy's like, bro, that guy don't know football. He brings me, he gets me here. I ran this shit. I'm the one that said trade Walker. Jerry's like, nah, that's my team. I run it. Yeah. I'm the one. So crazy, man.
I do like where the Jets have gone with their head coach coming from the
Me too. I agree.
Campbell tree. You know, I think the Jets, that was a good choice by the Jets right there. This season is going to be an uphill battle, but I like the pick that they made and with this year's draft, and I think next is going to be a quarterback for them. So
I like them at
I think so too,
because I think they're going to play disciplined football too.
Yes,
our teams are going to be similar in my opinion. We're going to win the round.
Yes, I agree.
Yes, that's a great point, Juan.
They're going to wait for you to mess up, and then they'll have the defense to take advantage of that. And if they run people down people's throats, that's both 500 football in this league.
Both no nonsense kind of coaches, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're going to hold their players responsible. Yeah. You know what I mean, on the field and off the field too. Like you could tell they're not going to play that game, right? So, but I agree. Like I like the signing too of the coach. I think, you know, he's a good coach. I don't know who's your OC in DC. Did he bring his new OC DC, whole new coaching staff, or he kept people? Yeah.
No, he brought new guys. Tanner Engstrand. He was a receivers coach, offensive line coach, basically a little bit of everything. Running game coordinator at for the Lions.
Okay.
And then
so you're bringing a lot of Lions guys. Okay.
Yeah, they brought Steve Wilkes, former head coach for Arizona, I think it was.
Yeah.
For a year, and then defensive coordinator for the 49ers. The other went to the Super Bowl, and DC, many other places.
Okay. And then Vrabel on your team, Juan, he brought in the whole new coaching. Correct, whole new staff.
Totally new. Josh McDaniels, golden boy back for us as offensive.
Golden boy back.
But he knows how to develop some quarterbacks, thankfully. So hopefully, him and Drake may have been doing decent. We'll see how that goes. Terrell Williams is his old little running mate in Tennessee. He was just coaching from the Lions too. He was their defensive line coach. He coached Aiden Hutchinson and all that.
Okay.
He's defensive coordinator too. So we'll see what happens with all that.
All right, man. So so it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be an interesting season for sure. Like in a whole. Like I think there's a lot of cool things happening around the NFL. Obviously, Micah Parsons getting traded to Green Bay. I honestly did not see that happening. I really thought Jerry was gonna pay him because, you know, if you do watch that documentary, Jerry Jones, that's what he did, man. He's a stickler, but he always winds up paying. Right? Emmitt Smith sat out 3 games. And he still wound up he was trying to play that I'm not going to pay it, and then he exactly. So and he still made them wait. But he paid him, and he paid him really good. Like Dak's still the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, right? And I don't think he deserves to be high, but he paid him after he broke his ankle. He still paid him. So that's why I thought no way. And then I thought no way he'll trade in the division if he's going to do it. So I was shocked. And then Green Bay paid that man a ton of money. So, boy, they better hope. They better hope. Yeah, they better hope it works out, because if it doesn't, they're tied up with a lot of money. But ultimately, man, I do think it's a good trade for Green Bay. It makes them contenders. It makes that division, I wouldn't want to be in that division.
It's a war zone.
That division is Chicago is getting better. So they may not be there yet, but they're on their way to competing in that division. But right now, I wouldn't want to be in that division. So anyways, guys, any of the last words before we leave?
It was nice seeing everybody on here. Once again, Juan, it was a blessing, brother. I'm happy that you're back on.
Absolutely.
Man. It was nice to see you. Curtis as well. Anthony, salute. I won't be on next week because I will be
vacation.
I will be across the pond, so I will not be on the show. But go Dolphins! It's not going to be as close as everyone thinks. I'm gonna let you know.
You're playing that.
Damn. Oh, you know what? So you're not going to be on. Hey, real quick, since you're not going to be on, go ahead and give us your prediction for that game.
Oh,
Because
easy.
You might as well. You might as well. Go ahead.
Easy peasy.
Shoot.
This is going to be 27-13 Dolphins.
Woo!
It's guess what? Yep, we're going to be
missed
running
this.
the football on the inside, and it's going to be a good thing. 27-13. Mark it down.
Against the
We're going to pull off
Bucks.
at least game one right here on the road. Go Dolphins! And
Damn, Curtis, you heard that straight
I hope
from
so.
Captain D.
I hope he's right.
All right, Anthony. Any last words before we leave?
Not much. Just JETS, Jets.
All right, okay. I like it. Juan, you have anything like that? PATS, pats, or no? You guys don't do that.
No, we actually have standards. We don't do that.
No. Okay. Just
I'm
making
glad
sure.
to be here. Love you guys. Let's have a kick-ass season. Let's go AFC
Amen.
Shakedown.
Absolutely, baby. Curtis, any last words, man?
I will see after week one with a 4D chess or a Titanic. I'll save my stuff for after week one.
All right, sounds good. So, guys, we'll be back next Saturday at noon, 12 o'clock, and we'll be previewing all of the games. So, till then, I am Tommy. That's Anthony. That's Juan. That's Curtis. And that's Captain D. We are out of here. Peace. Go Bills.
Bye-bye. See, Peter, he's too fast. You gotta tackle me. It's B. You gotta press B. I'm pressing B. He's too fast. Going over here? Going over here now? Never get tired.